Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to everyone. Welcome once again to IEEE PES webinar series. This webinar today is on a very interesting topic once again. This webinar is in conjunction with IEEE PES Day 2020, IEEE Power and Energy Society Malaysia Chapter in collaboration with IEEE UKM student branch. And today we have our speaker with us, Dr. Abdul Hadi Azman. The topic is very interesting. It's e-learning tools for TLN during pandemic. And we are privileged today that we have an audience not only from Malaysia, outside of Malaysia as well. So hopefully you all will enjoy this webinar today and you will learn a new techniques, a lot of techniques from Dr. Abdul Hadi. So before we proceed and I hand over to Dr. Abdul Hadi, I would like to give a little bit introduction about him. Dr. Abdul Hadi Azman is a senior lecturer in Department of Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering at Faculty of Engineering and Built Environment at Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, UKM, since June 2017. He's graduated from, it's a French name, I will try to pronounce if I can. He graduated from University de France Comté with the bachelor degree in mechanical engineering, and after that he earned his master's and PhD from University Grenoble Alpes. He is currently active in writing articles and doing research mainly on mechanical engineering design, lattice structure design, and topology optimization for additive manufacturing. Some of his latest researches are implications of lattice structures on economics and productivity of metal powder bed fusion, lattice structure design optimization for additive manufacturing using finite element analysis and design configurations, and creation of lattice structures for metallic additive manufacturing. Without further ado, I would like to hand over the session to our speaker today, and I will just announce as a housekeeping announcement. Please keep your microphone on mute. If you have anything to say, you can write it in the chat box and later the speaker will answer to your inquiries. Thank you very much and enjoy today's webinar, and over to you, Dr. Abdul Hadi.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Harun, and thank you to all for attending this webinar, and also IEEE for organizing the webinar, inviting me for today's session. I am Hadi from UKM, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. I'm also the coordinator for e-learning, my faculty here in UKM. So this afternoon, I will present a topic about e-learning tools during pandemic. Okay. So as we all know, during the last 1 or 2 months, there's been many changes in our world due to the coronavirus. And one which is a lot affected is in education. Okay. So as the students cannot be at the campus as well as the lecturers, we have to find a way how to continue our teaching and learning. And one of the ways is using online tools. Okay. So this afternoon, about maybe 50 minutes, I will present some tools and also tips how to conduct teaching and learning online. Okay, so this you can download at www.bit.ly/HadiWebinar. Also, I'm presenting on this main screen. Okay. So today I will present 3 things. I will share 3 things. First, we talk about adapting to a new normal, online teaching during COVID-19 outbreak. Second, about synchronous and asynchronous teaching and learning using Microsoft Teams, and also I will give example of what we use in UK and Folio, which is a LMS, Learning Management System, based on Moodle. I think many universities all over the world also use the same Moodle, so we can correlate the examples given. And then I will finish by some useful tips and tools for online teaching and learning. Okay. So when we talk about online teaching and learning, so from this first slide, this is a photo of me teaching in a classic classroom, classic lecture hall, with all the students in front of me, face to face. Okay, so this is what we have been used to for years, for years, and for years. But now suddenly we are forced to do teaching and learning online. Okay, so from the photo from on the left to the photo on the right. Okay, so we'll just stand in front of our laptop, like what we are doing now, and we look at the screen, we are listening to the voice, looking at the PowerPoint, and try to understand the lecture, the webinar. Okay? So from this to this. And what's also happening, sometimes also this. Okay? When I want to teach online or do my work at home, not unfortunately, but the reality is that is what I think many of us are also experiencing. Okay, so these are my twin 1.5 years old. Sometimes they come to me when I'm working, so I don't have an option, but I take the seat, their chairs, put them inside, put the seatbelt on, and then I can work, continue my work. Okay, so there is some new normal and new experiences for us. And another photo from lab work, being in the lab. Now we have to think about doing the lab online. Okay, so this is a new machine example and another example of computer-aided manufacturing camp. Okay, so in these circumstances, maybe it's still possible because for computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing, this is computer-based, we have the software. But for other examples, for other lab works, maybe it's more difficult. Okay? So these are the changes. When we talk about the term new normal is quite familiar in the recent months, but I'm talking about in the context of e-learning. Okay? Adaptation, how do we adapt? Another example, okay, this is just in the context of UKM. We have just moved to a different LMS, different learning management system platform, to a Moodle one. I think in in most universities in Malaysia and all throughout the world, they also use Moodle, okay, the same one. We just call it different with a different name and different layout, but the functions are still the same. Okay, so when we change, when we have changes in our lives, okay, in a society or in an organization, normally this is what we experience as human beings. This is what we naturally experience. Okay? So in the book Change Management, okay, organizational change management, there's this one example of this figure that I've shown in this PowerPoint. When a change happens, we all react according to the very same pattern, and here is its representation graph. Okay, so normally when we have new changes in our lives, okay, for example, not just in the context of e-learning, but anything in our universities, in our daily life, in our family, in our house, and anything in the society, normally the first reaction when we have been so accustomed to something, we are in a shock of, in a state of shock, or maybe denial. And then maybe we feel some anger or unhappiness or maybe fear. Okay, for example, when we had to change from face-to-face classroom to online classroom, maybe we felt some sort of fear. How do I implement this? How are we going to be able to do this? How will the students react? Okay? And maybe some unhappiness. Okay? We want to continue our old ways. Sorry. My son is here. Okay, so a feel of sense of unhappiness, anger. But as the time passes by, after 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, etc., we will naturally feel some sort of acceptance, ready to accept the fate. Okay, so now when the MCO was first implemented, we cannot go out. We have to stay at home. Maybe we felt not so used to it. But now after 3-4 weeks, me personally, I'm starting to feel it's okay, just stay at home. When to go out, we have to wear a mask. And the first time, it was quite not so comfortable. But now when we go out using the mask, I feel comfortable wearing it. Okay? So after a while, we go to a period of acceptance and then experiment, thinking about new ideas and integration. Okay? So when I look back on the past 1 or 2 months, when we had to change from face-to-face to online, I think we had to go through this first in terms of technical preparation, and also the second, mental preparation. How do we adapt to new changes? And in UKM and also in UM, we just started online teaching this week. Even though the MCO was started a long time ago, but online class only started this week. And I think that was quite important in terms of we had 1 month preparation for preparation teaching, and also in terms of psychologically, now I think everybody is accepting to do online teaching. So time, I think, is an important factor in anything in our life, and also especially in adapting to changes, adapting to a new normal. So now I will talk about online teaching and learning. There are 2 methods, 2 approaches. The first is synchronous, and second is asynchronous. Synchronous and asynchronous. So synchronous means live, real-time communication, like what we are doing right now, okay, in this webinar using Cisco. We are all communicating online at the same time, and we can talk directly. Okay, so that is what we call synchronous, and we also have asynchronous, where it is not at the same time. Okay. So in the first example left, normal face-to-face, where all the students and the lecturer have to be in the same lecture hall at the same time. Okay. The second one, live online broadcast, synchronous. We have on the x-axis the time, y-axis is the space domain. Okay. So in synchronous or live online, live class, the students and lecturers all have to be together at the same time. For example, today, all of us are joining this webinar in Cisco WebEx at 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. local time Malaysia. Okay, if you are in other countries, another time. Okay, but we are all today at 3 o'clock local time Malaysia. Okay, so this is an example of synchronous online teaching. Another example is asynchronous online teaching and learning, where we can be at a different place and also at a different time. For example, if I want to learn something from Coursera, from other on YouTube tutorial, I can just watch anytime I want. Okay, so there is asynchronous learning. Okay, so these are the 2 main types, synchronous and asynchronous. So both have their own advantages and also disadvantages. Okay, so I will talk later on about the difference between the two and also the approaches. So asynchronous using LMS, Learning Management System, Moodle, for example, in UKM Folio or in other universities, in other online platforms. So asynchronous self-directed learning, meaning that the student and the lecturer will create the content of the course, and then the student will follow one by one, depending on their own time. Okay, maybe they want to watch the video this afternoon, maybe they want to watch the video tonight or tomorrow. They learn according to the content uploaded in the LMS. Okay. Asynchronous. So here I want to share some survey from PCMag. Best LMS learning management systems for 2018. So we have many types of LMS: Moodle, Canvas, Schoology, Blackboard, Google Classroom, etc. Okay. All have their own advantages and disadvantages. And one of these are the most commonly used throughout the world. Each of your universities, they have their own platform. Okay. So Moodle is an open source LMS. Okay. In the case in my university in UKM, we use UKM Folio. Okay. So these are some examples of LMS. So I will share some examples from Moodle using UKM Folio. So if you have in your corresponding universities, so use Moodle but with different layout, you can still correspond to the examples given. So these are the features in Moodle. Okay. So we have many features, activity and resources. So the first activity, we have assignments, chat, choice, custom certificate, database, external tool, feedback, forum, etc. Okay. So the first one, assignment, can be used for students to submit the assignments or submit lab works. Okay, assignment. Another feature is chat. So chatting is where this lecturer can create a feature where they can chat live with students. They can set what time, when they want to chat, and they can use the LMS to chat between the students and lecturer. The choice and certificate, I haven't used it yet. Database, external tool, feedback, forum. So forum is like chatting, but you can use just like typical forum, okay, in a website. Glossary, interactive content. Another one that we use is quiz. Okay. Quiz can be used for online quiz or also online assignment. So in Moodle, the online quiz, there are many features, and sometimes for the first time user, it is quite, maybe it takes time to understand which feature to use. Many settings to choose from. And then we have resources. We can upload files, folders, videos, etc. So these are the features in LMS in the context of UKM Folio. So this is an example how we can construct our online course using Moodle LMS. So in this example that I've given, this is the chapter, the topic that I'm teaching with my students. We can create the topics topic by topic so that the student can follow continuously, sequentially. We start from topic number 1, topic number 2, topic number 3, etc. And for each topic, we can upload the PowerPoint, the corresponding online video for that topic. And then we can add a feature afterwards, a discussion or a simple quiz, where students can give their feedback. We can ask simple questions, and they can answer so that they can, the students can know whether they have fully understand, and the lecturers also can know if they fully understand the topic or not. Another example I've given here. Where for a topic, first I start with an introduction for the topic, and then a simple short video, 2-minute video regarding the topic. This one I can just take from, if you can find from YouTube already good videos, animations or anything, we can also add the designing our online course. And then we add our lecture. And after that, we add the video for the corresponding lecture. So the students, they can just follow step by step in the online course. So they can view the slide, view the lecture. I think it is advisable for lectures, we can do maybe for 5 or 10 minutes the videos. Because if we upload for 1 hour, if we record for 1 hour, maybe if we take record for 1 hour, maybe higher chances of technical difficulties. Also, we have recorded already, and then we forgot to save, and then there's a technical error in exporting the video or anything. So it's safer to record shorter videos. And also, it is easier for the students to follow short videos, 5-10 minute videos, and we can cut the videos by subtopics. So for here, I have video lecture 1, part 1. And then later I will upload part 2 and part 3. Short 10-minute videos. And here I also upload from YouTube another videos that will help the understanding of the topic for students. And they can also view. So we can create a mixture between our videos and also other interesting videos on the internet. And finally, for the topic, I add a discussion and I ask questions, and students will reply regarding the topic. What are their opinion? So from there, we can have a general feedback, the understanding of the students on the topic. So this is one example of creating online content using in LMS. This is an example of assignment. So we can create one topic for the first lab, add the instruction, and add a place for students to upload the lab reports, okay, or the assignments. And the other one is quiz. Okay, so for quiz, there are many settings, and in Moodle, I think it's quite powerful in terms of what we can do. But for the first time use, because there are so many features, so many settings, it is quite difficult to know which one to use. Okay, so that one I will explain at the last part of my presentation today, where to find the information and how to find it, which one to choose. Okay, so we can do questions on multiple choice, true or false, matching, short answer, numerical, okay, so we have calculations. And we can also put essay types of questions and many other types. Okay? So for quiz, there are many types of settings to choose from. It's just a matter of discovering which one is most useful and using in our online quiz. Okay, so next, now I will talk about synchronous teaching and learning. So synchronous teaching and learning is, as I've said previously, is what we are doing now. We are talking live conference using WebEx. Other platforms include Microsoft Teams, Skype, Zoom, FaceTime, Facebook Live. Okay. So I think the most common what we use Zoom, WebEx, and also Microsoft Teams. Okay. But although tools, their screens and also record their meeting. And I wanted to study the usability and utility of online. So now I will share about Microsoft Teams. So in Microsoft Teams or Zoom here in WebEx, mainly more or less the same function.
Excuse me, Dr. Hadi.
Can join. Yeah.
Sorry, Dr.
For
Hadi.
this question.
No, actually, from your side, the voice is breaking. I think maybe you can turn off your camera because the bandwidth message is coming. The bandwidth is quite low, so that's why we have missed number of things in the few last minutes. Thank you.
Okay, is it better now?
Hopefully.
Test. Okay, if there's a problem, you can
very better.
Way better. Okay. So thank you for telling me. Okay, so that's one example of the problems is synchronous teaching and learning. Sometimes we have video lagging. So is it important or not to see the face of the lecturer of the seminar? So this is not that important. So now if you don't see my face, you can still understand. You can still hear my voice. You can still look at the PowerPoint. So those are the things to think about when we conduct teaching and learning. Okay, so as I was saying about Microsoft Teams, sorry, I just realized there's a question. Is it okay if I just answer at the end of my presentation for this question? It's not long to go. Thank you very much. Okay, so Microsoft Teams, as I was saying, now all these online platforms we can do screen sharing. Screen sharing, and we can also annotate. We can write somewhere. Okay, so this is example, just a brief introduction on how to use Microsoft Teams. So when we join, we can create a new team. Okay. Some vocabulary in Microsoft Teams, we have team, we have channel, we have organization. Okay, so organization is our university, and inside that, we can create many teams for our specific departments, for our specific faculty, for our specific course. Okay, so we call a team, and under the team, we can create what they use the term channels. So, for example, if I have a course mechanical design, okay, I'm teaching mechanical design for 40 students, so I create the team mechanical design, And then within the team, there are many groups. Okay, for among the students, like group 1, group 2, 3, 4, 5, until 10. So I can create a channel for each group if I want. So they can discuss within the respective channels for each group. So the hierarchy is organization in terms of data in Microsoft Teams, organization, for example, university, and then team, and then below is channel. So this is I want to just share how to create a team. On the top right, I add this join or create team, and then once we have created a team, there are 3 ways to share with the students. Either we press get link to team, and then we email them or WhatsApp them the link, and students can join. We approve the request. Second, we can generate and share code. Okay, so the second way, we don't have to approve each request. We can just directly join with each code. The third way is we search and directly add each student. So obviously, if we have 100 students, it will be a long time to add each student. So if we have 100 students, maybe we just give them a code or the link to join. Just like when we are joining this webinar WebEx, we have the code and we can join. We have the link. So, but if we have, for example, only 10 students for our course, we can directly add them. Yes, this is how to add. In Microsoft Teams, so if we want to, in terms of, if we want to find what to do, how to find something, we can also always press these 3 dots. Okay? This the settings, how to share video, share file, how to manage, find the settings, add members, etc. Just press on these 3 dots. Okay. Next, sharing screen. For screen sharing, there are 2 things. The one thing to take note of is that we can share the entire screen, or another one, we can choose to share a specific window. Okay, for example, what I'm using now, I have my laptop screen and I have a secondary monitor just beside where I'm extending the screen. Okay, so 2 screens. And also I'm opening Google Chrome, WebEx, and a PowerPoint. So I can choose either to choose screen number 1 or screen number 2, the entire screen, or I can choose specifically whether to share only the PowerPoint, only specific window. So here I'm sharing only my PowerPoint. Even if I drag something on my screen, for example, if I open my email or WhatsApp, you can be sure that I'm not sharing that file, that window. Okay. So just sometimes we need to be careful, because when we share screen, maybe we forgot, and then we open something else, and then the students can see what is happening on our computer, or if we have confidential files or anything. So sometimes it's better to only choose a specific PowerPoint, specific window, or if you want to alternate, change between many windows, many software, you can also just share the entire screen. It's also to share screen. Another one feature is Whiteboard, where we can annotate, we can write, and the students can see, can communicate between the lectures in real time. Okay? So we have Jamboard from Google, and we also have Microsoft Whiteboard. Microsoft Whiteboard, it is integrated. We can integrate Microsoft Teams. Okay? So if you have Microsoft Teams, we can directly share everybody can see the whiteboard. But other than that, for example, if I want to share now, I can just make create a Microsoft Whiteboard or Google Jamboard. Then I share the link to everybody in this webinar, and then we can all see the whiteboard together. Okay, so this is another example of real-time writing. Okay, now some tips, general tips for online teaching and learning. Okay. But before I share that tips, I just want to share a quote. It's, you don't have to know everything. You simply need to know where to find it when necessary. Where to find it when you need it. So this quote, my father shared with me, I think, 10, 15 years ago when I was in high school. At that time, the internet era was just beginning, late 90s, early 2000. Okay, the internet era, the Google, the Yahoo, everything. And he told me, Hadi, now we don't have to know everything, but it is important to know where to find and how to find something. So when we talk about online teaching and learning, actually there are many tools, many features that we can choose. And of course, we don't know everything. We don't know what each feature, what each setting is for. Okay? Especially as we are also new experience for us. But what is important is where to find the information, how to find the information, what keywords, if we have a problem, how to solve it, where to find information. Okay, so now this is some online tools that we can use. Okay. Screen recording, we can use Camtasia, Screencast-O-Matic, Loom, QuickTime. To make infographics, we can use Canva, PictoChart, animation, Powtoon. Powtoon is quite interesting. If you want to make like cartoons where you can dub your voice, you do dubbing, or you can just write. You have two characters, you can write the script, and then they will, like making your own cartoon. You can try Powtoon. And for the animation, I haven't tried. Oh no, sorry. What I have tried is before Plotagon. Plotagon is where you can make your own cartoon. Okay. And then record videos. I use Camtasia also. Record audio, digital music, GarageBand, animation, Whiteboard. So this, some tools. I will share a few things. Now, useful tips. Useful tips for online teaching and learning. Annotation. So as lecturers, and also students, we always like not to just to refer to the PowerPoint, but also to write directly on the whiteboard. So we can use this by annotation. Annotation. I will share an example. Okay. Here I will share an example about annotation. There are two ways we can use Microsoft Surface or iPad, anything that already has pencil or stylus. We can also use graphic tablet. So here on the right is a graphic tablet that I bought recently, about 2-3 weeks ago from Shopee. It doesn't cost a lot, around 100 ringgit. So here I will show an example of writing with this annotation. Okay, we can choose here at the bottom left corner, there's pen function. We can choose which color we want, blue. And then I can write on using my graphic tablet on the PowerPoint directly. So if I want to write Y, C, K, to write any formula, or we can just write anything we want. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So this is an example of annotation. So if we want to communicate between the students and lecture, we can highlight. We can choose different font, different colors. Useful tips from. Yeah. So this is one way of annotation. So next, recording using PowerPoint. PowerPoint has two ways of recording. First, we use the insert tab where we can record the entire screen. Not just PowerPoint, we can record other software. The second feature is in slideshow, there's a record slideshow icon. Okay, so when we press that icon, it will appear this window on the left, okay, in slideshow. And we can choose whether to record only the screen and our voice, or also our face. Okay, so we can switch on the webcam and we start recording. So after we start recording, instead of save, choose file, export, create a video. Create a video, and then we choose maybe 720p or 480p is okay. And then we create a video. So in PowerPoint, we can also record lecture. Another one is using Screencast-O-Matic. There's a software we can download online. There's a free version and also a paid version. But the free version is already okay. There's just a small watermark, but we can also it's already enough. Okay. So here there's a link, YouTube link. I made a video tutorial before so that you can explore. Okay. Another, after we have recorded the videos, we can upload in YouTube. So three things to consider when uploading in YouTube. There are three settings. So there's one thing to consider when uploading in YouTube. There are three settings. First setting is public, where anybody can search the video, anybody can view the video. The second is unlisted, where only people with the link, they can view the video. This is the same setting as Google Documents in the public, unlisted, and private. The third setting is private. Private, only those with access added, they can view the video. So normally we just choose between public or unlisted. So if you don't mind anybody to see your video, you can just do public. But if you want only for your students and you to view the video, you can set as unlisted, and then you can embed the video in your corresponding LMS you can follow, or you can just share the link with our students. Okay. What if students are not available online? Okay. Regarding this sharing, this questions, how can they access contents of the lecture other than video recording? I think voice recording is also enough to achieve effective teaching, online teaching and learning. If we use Telegram or WhatsApp, we have this is for students who don't have stable internet connection. I know one lecturer who teaches using WhatsApp because the students don't have stable internet connection, and she just share each slide, each photo of each slide, and then for each slide she will record a voice note. Okay, so for example, you have WhatsApp group with the students. Slide number 1, you share the image in WhatsApp, and then below the image, after sharing the photo, you record your voice explaining for slide number 1. And then for the second page, do the same thing, and then add a voice note. Okay, it is still as effective as I think as watching videos. Okay? Because in videos we have the same thing. We can listen to the voice, we can see the PowerPoint. So if you use that way, only share recordings, audio recordings, it's still okay. Another thing, when we record our videos, for example, in Stream, in Microsoft Teams, those who are unable to attend the lecture live, we can share the videos later on, so they can still watch it. Okay, so here's also another tutorial that I made on my YouTube channel. Next, download. Okay, this is a tip for students, okay, who don't have Wi-Fi at their home. Okay. I suggest for those who don't have Wi-Fi at home, one of the ways that they can do is maybe once a week or once every few days, if they can find somewhere which has good internet connection. Okay, they can download all the videos at one time, and then they return back to their room at their college or at their house, and then they can watch at their home, play again without streaming. Okay? So when we have video, it is not necessarily always streaming. So if you don't have good internet connection, you can always download, just like students like to download movies or something. They can also download their lecture videos, okay, and then watch later at home. So this is one software you can use, 4K video downloader. There's a free version and also paid version. The free version is already enough. I already used for quite a few years. And there's also a function download from YouTube to MP3. So for example, if I record my lecture and then I upload later in YouTube, the student, or maybe I can do myself, convert the video to MP3. And then later on, for those who don't have good internet connection, I can just send the MP3 to the WhatsApp using LMS, and then the students can hear it again while looking at the PowerPoint that we have shared with them. Next, Wi-Fi connections. I observed that we always talk about, for those who don't have internet connection, like, for example, the government, they have given extra 1 gigabyte daily. I think what is more important for a long-term solution is to find a stable Wi-Fi connection. Because even with handphone internet data, I think it is not that stable, and it is still not unlimited. So for a long-term solution, if you want to implement, especially I think, I don't know, till at the end of the year we have to do online teaching, it is important to first and foremost have a stable Wi-Fi at home. And nowadays, even if we don't have Wi-Fi at home, maybe our neighbors have Wi-Fi. So this is an example. From where I am now, I can see all my neighbors. I can have the signals, Wi-Fi signals. Okay? So if I don't have Wi-Fi right now, we can ask them, if you are friendly with your neighbors, you can ask them if they can use their Wi-Fi connection. Before this, my old previous apartment, I shared my Wi-Fi with my neighbor. Okay? Because at that time, the housing area, the data, internet data for handphone was not that strong. Okay, 3G, 4G, they receive it. So he wanted to watch YouTube at home at night, but it was always took a long time to load. So and I told him one day, you can use my Wi-Fi, and then they just pay me some in return. So For Wi-Fi, if we have other connections, we can use the connections available. Even in my apartment here, before this, there was a neighbor from her house. She could receive a Wi-Fi connection from nearby shop lots, nearby shops. So as she was fairly a good customer to the shops, she asked them if she can use the Wi-Fi. So yes, I think if you are, because now in the pandemic in MCO, we cannot install Wi-Fi unified our home right now because the technician cannot come. But as short-term solution and also long-term solution, we can use Wi-Fi if we can receive the signals. Okay. Other details for those using LMS Moodle base, I want to share online Moodle docs manual, because in Moodle, in Ukenfolio, there are many settings that we have to choose from. Sometimes it is quite difficult to choose, to know which one to choose from. So in this docs.moodle.org, in this manual, they explain step by step each function and each setting. So if you don't know which one setting to choose from, we can choose this. We can refer to this manual by Moodle, and also in YouTube, because Moodle is very widely used throughout the world. So the support for Moodle is quite large. We just type, for example, Moodle quiz, Moodle assignment in YouTube. We can see already many tutorials how to do it. And for those in UKM, we can also refer to the tutorial by Ukenfolio. Ukenfolio untuk pelajar, so Ukenfolio untuk syarah. Sorry for the noise, background noise. Okay, so next, some general online and teaching learning tips. First, sorry, this is in Malay for those from other countries. The first tip is always check our LMS for the latest news. Always be alert for students. Always be alert of information, discussions from the lecturers. Second, try to have a good internet connection. Or if you don't have good internet connection, try to move the surrounding area where it's possible. Even within the house, there are some rooms where the connection is better than other rooms. So try to find where the strongest signal. Get ready with technical things. Okay, so make sure you have microphone, webcam, anything that you need. Close all other softwares which are not being used. So just before starting this WebEx seminar, I closed all the other softwares that I'm not using, Microsoft Teams, browser, anything, because I don't want to. I want to avoid the lagging. Sometimes when we open so many things in our laptop, this becomes slow. So next, be alert. In terms of communication, try to be respectful. Try to promote good discussion among the students. Use emoticons. Tell the lecturers if we don't have good internet connection. And also students can learn in study groups, okay? Online study groups. Okay. Other examples. Other tips, always make sure that the microphone is off, is muted, unless we're talking. Sometimes we mute, but we're not alert when it's unmuted. Sometimes we can hear background noises. Use feature raise hand. For example, in WebEx, we can raise hand. Use chatting. So here the chatting. Sorry if there are some questions I wasn't alert during my presentation. but I'm reading now. Next, background screen sharing, screen recording. Do share that. Okay, so lastly, I just want to talk about digital footprint. Be careful of your digital footprint. What is a digital footprint? Okay, so when we go online, just like when we walk, we leave a trace from our footsteps. Okay, so when we are online, we also leave our digital trace, our digital footprint, websites that we have visited, the videos that we have uploaded, the messages that we have sent, the anything that we have uploaded, because this information, unless they are deleted, they will be always stored in the internet somewhere. So make sure that what we upload, what message we write, is something that is not confidential, that is not private, that is okay for everyone to read. Okay. Always think long term before posting. If you want to upload video, whether you choose unlisted, public, okay. Think long term before posting. Keep personal information private. Okay. If you want to screen share, make sure that we don't accidentally screen share something which is private. Use private settings on social networking pages. If we use social networking, always be aware what we choose public and private. Protect your privacy and the privacy of your friends. Things which don't deserve to be shared, it's better not to be shared. Apply golden rule when online. Wherever we post online, we stay online. I think, okay, that's last one. Possible situation when we do synchronous. Sometimes the lecture may be 1 hour, but just managing technical difficulties takes 30 minutes. And so we want to avoid that situation. So before the lecture, share all PowerPoints to all students. So even though, for example, if I'm doing now screen sharing, suddenly the screen sharing is unavailable, I can still continue my webinar and everybody can refer to on the handphone, the PowerPoint that I have shared online at the start of the talk. If we have slow connection, you can see the PowerPoint on our laptop individually. What happened just now when my voice was lagging, Dr. Harun asked me to turn off the camera. Okay? So that is one thing that we can do. Turn off the camera when there's slower internet connection or not stable. You can also use chatting to ask questions. And I strongly suggest to use laptop instead of handphones. Although we can use handphones to in the apps like Microsoft Teams or WebEx to be online. But for lectures where the students have to concentrate, if you have a laptop, I strongly suggest to view with laptop because the screen is bigger. You are most probably sitting down and most probably at the table. So you have better connection, better concentration, and also some apps. If we use mobile apps, there are certain features which are unavailable. Whereas if you use laptop, all the features are available. Preferably use Wi-Fi connection instead of data. So last slide, try to test and use the software before the lecture. If you have faced problems, sometimes it works just by restarting or leave and rejoin the call. Okay, so sometimes when there is lagging or the people cannot see my video or hear my voice or anything, sometimes it works just by closing the software and then opening it again. And close all other unused apps or software to avoid lagging and or slow connection. Okay, so that's all. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening, and Dr. Harun for organizing this webinar. either hand back to you or I read the questions and directly answer. What do you prefer?
Thank you, Dr. Hadi. There are a few questions in the chat box. You can read them and reply to them. Thank you.
So one by one. The first one by Dodi Ismoyo. How about in terms of its effectiveness between online learning and face-to-face learning? Has there been a study to do this comparison and see what is the final end result in terms of student results? Interesting question. Frankly speaking, I've not done any research or not read any research, any papers regarding this specific comparison between face-to-face and online teaching and learning. I've read a few recently papers regarding the advancements of LMS. Okay. One, it is quite interesting. You can see the progress over the years, the progression, the improvements in LMS systems, where now, for example, I give examples of Moodle. The features, the things that we can do is quite powerful and has great potential. So that is one thing, one of the positive things. So in terms of effectiveness, concrete data, I do not know. But in terms of grasping information, if we look what happens in the face-to-face learning, what the students go through is they listen to the voice of the lecturer, they see the face of the lecturer, and they see the PowerPoint. So if you can achieve these three things in online teaching, of course, I think in terms of effectiveness, is this face-to-face is still better. But I think that online teaching, we can achieve the same thing. For example, we can listen without any disturbance the voice of the lecturer, see the PowerPoint, maybe see the face of the lecturer if you want to see. This maybe already fulfills the minimum requirement to understand the topic. Second question. Usually for learning at university, most of the time they are class-based learning for theory and lab-based learning for hands-on practical. With this e-learning platform, I guess we can replace the class-based learning temporarily. But how about the lab-based learning? How are we going to replace it? Any idea on the best practical tool to replace the lab experience?
I agree.
For lab experience for students, there are two things. First, they want to, so cognitive, they want to understand the topic. Also, there's a psychomotor where the students, they have to use with their hands, they have to try it by themselves. Okay? So in terms of psychomotor, I think it is impossible to achieve with online. But as a maybe short-term replacement, my faculty, what we are trying to do now is we are looking at the possibility of record the experiment, and then after that, students can view the video, and then they can see how it is being done. So maybe it's not the same experience as they were conducting the lab by themselves, but maybe it is the next best thing, considering the limitations that we have. And so and then they can see the results, do the discussion, and we can ask them to make a lab report based on the video, or we can transfer to simulations online. But this is not applicable for all subjects. Virtual reality. Yeah, I think virtual reality or augmented reality, it has the potential to replace virtual lab, augmented reality. Because nowadays, even in phones, in tablets, iPads, there are many augmented reality applications. And one of the subtopic I'm teaching is about augmented reality. in CAD software. And it is interesting that even my kids, they are playing their games in my tablet. Many games are already using augmented reality. So I think, and it is very, it has a good potential to in teaching and learning. But how to do that, how to develop the technical infrastructure, I think maybe it takes some time. What about if students, okay, this one I already answered from Akram. How to get the slide. Okay. Regarding the assessment via Moodle online, can you share UCAM's experience conducting assessments for essay type of essays in terms of setting up testing? In terms of essay, for my subject that I'm teaching, we will do assessment with essay. For essay, we can set up in Moodle, you can follow, and then the student will write. We can upload the instruction, and the students can write on their own piece of paper. They can scan using their handphone and upload the assignment in Moodle. Okay. And then in terms of grading, we can just grade manually, like we want to grade face-to-face assignments. After the COVID-19 issue, Jianji again, thank you for the question. After the COVID-19 issue, what's the opinion of that the university should continue to contribute to e-learning or focus on face? I think face-to-face teaching method will always be there and will always be number one. But e-learning is good for complementing the face-to-face video, the face-to-face experience. So what is happening now? I think we are all forced to record videos of our lectures. These videos will still be useful for us even after the COVID-19 issue. In next year, in 2 years' time, in 5 years' time, even though we will hopefully get back to normal face-to-face teaching, we can use the videos to implement flipped classroom. Since we have already recorded all the videos, we can ask students before the next class, watch this video, 10-minute video. Then in the next class, we discuss. Okay. Or after the lecture, if you don't have any question, the students do not fully understand the examples, they can always refer back to the videos. So I think what we are doing now, long term, will complement face-to-face learning. Muhammad Hafiz Ismail, thank you. How to avoid cheating during online test exam? If final exams are converted as continuous assessments, how about cognitive level? Need to include questions with high cognitive level, open questions. How about you can students? Okay. How to avoid cheating during online tests? Okay. So my first reaction when we wanted to, when there was a possibility to implement online exam, for me, I thought it was very difficult, nearly impossible. Okay? Because there are many, of course, there are many loopholes that need to be covered. For example, cheating. How do you ensure that the students don't cheat? Okay, so when we see cheating, there's a possibility that somebody else is answering for them, or they are finding the information from somewhere else, or they are copying from their friends. Okay. So that one needs many. This is quite difficult, I think. How do you ensure that students themselves are answering? Do we have to make sure they have to take a selfie before taking exam? Or do we have to record them taking exam? So if we want to do that, in terms of technical difficulties, it's very difficult. we have to ensure everybody has to take video or anything. Okay? So in terms of cheating, if someone else is doing it, it's quite difficult. But in terms of open book test, now we are turning to open book test. So in the exam open book test, students can open the reference book or find from internet or anything to answer the question. So even if they do that, it will not be considered cheating because open book test. So of course, in open book test, the questions will be difficult. During my undergraduate time in France, MS and also undergraduate, many subjects were open book tests. So I just bring as many books that I want. But for open book test, of course, the level, the difficulty of the questions will be difficult. Even if you want to refer to the book, sometimes you can still, if you do not understand properly the topic, you can still find it difficult to answer the questions. So I think for online is, of course, open book test. We are doing open book test. And how to avoid cheating, we are working with the ICT department and for faculty, how to make sure that all the students will answer the questions without cheating. It's quite difficult to answer that question. We haven't gone through that process yet. And I'm not that person in charge of making the decisions at the university level, so I'm not very sure. But I'm sure that it is all been taken care of. How about cognitive level assessments? Okay. Yes, for online book or continuous, the questions of course will be different compared to regular exams. Okay, so we have to change how the questions are being made. How about students with no limited internet access? From a student point of view, it's very important to make sure that if they do not have internet connection, first and foremost, they have to tell the lecturer. And as well, the lecturer, we have to identify which students have internet connection and do not have internet connection. And that is what has been extensively, I think, for the past month, being surveyed by all the universities, by the ministry, by each lecturer, to identify what is the percentage of students who have internet connection and do not have internet connection. And after the MCO, so that students can either stay where they are at their home, or if they do not have internet connection, return to the campus to have internet connection. So in that regards, there should be no problem students having no internet connection. But it is important to have a good communication between lecturer and students to identify and know what is the percentage of students who have internet connection. So that is already that is being done in my case and also previously. Regarding to the e-learning development perspective, do you think that it will be a major study also in the future? Okay. In terms of development, this morning I had another webinar. One of the panelists told that the e-learning market is going from I don't know, a couple of something 100 millions to in the near future will be 1 point something billion USD. Okay, so I think that because of this COVID-19, the e-learning prospect is going to be big. Okay. According to cheating issue, we can solve by software and programming, which means set and not outside. Yes, I think that is a good. Thank you for your suggestion, Genji. Kan? I think this is a good. Something that can be implemented is by making what they call security logs when the students are answering the questions. In terms, I just remember in terms of Moodle, we can set for quiz. We can for higher security, we can use passwords, give certain passwords. And also, the students cannot answer the questions for certain quiz. They cannot use the mobile application. They only answer in web browser. So there are some added features, security features. I think they can be long term. It can be solved with programming and software. Just as we have to log in our handphone, we use Touch ID or our thumb fingerprint. Maybe in the future we can use some sort of identification like that to answer each question. Another question? Other questions? So if there's no more questions, I thank you. I thank everybody for listening. Thank you very much. This is a new experience as well for me. So I hope that all of us can continue teaching, continue learning, and I hope we will all be successful in implementing online teaching during this pandemic. Thank you very much. Thank you for the questions. And I hand over again to Dr. Hani Rashid.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abdul Hadi Azman, for a interesting topic, which is like in a high demand right now. Not only in Malaysia, around the world, people are suffering with the issue of e-learning. I've been receiving like calls and SMS from different countries. They are asking what type of tips you can advise us, what type of medium you can tell us, how we can do, how we can solve the issue. So basically, the first thing what most of the countries, especially the developing countries and underdeveloped countries, they are facing is the internet thing. On the other hand side, I will use your quotation as a concluding remark for today's webinar, that you don't have to know everything. You simply need to know where to find it when necessary. So that's a very interesting thing, that we don't need to know everything. Whatever is needed for us, we just need to focus on it, and we have to find from a right place so that we get for the benefit of humanity. So with this, on behalf of IEEE Power and Energy Society Malaysia, I would like to thank you, our speaker today, Dr. Abdul Hadi Azman, for spending your time and sharing with us your personal experience as well as the tips and tricks. Also, I would like to say thanks to UKM Student Branch for organizing this webinar, and thanks to all the participants. With this, I will conclude this webinar. Thank you very much for joining. Stay safe, stay home. See you tomorrow in another webinar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, everybody. Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.